Hate burns like fire, but love can quench even the fiercest flame. In a small village nestled between a river of crystal waters and the shadow of a forbidden forest, two families carried hatred as ancient as the land itself. This feud, born from greed over fertile farmland, had poisoned every heart and spread like a curse upon their bloodlines. One family was led by Ezemwo, the fiery and unyielding chief priest of the goddess Allah's shrine. The other was led by Nkemdilim, a steadfast man who had built the only church in the village and vowed to serve his god. But where hate had sown division, love had dared to bloom. Osondu, the brave and gentle son of Ezemwo, had fallen in love with Nneoma, the radiant daughter of Nkemdilim. Their love was forbidden, whispered only to the moon and hidden by the rustling reeds of the riverbank. There, beneath the watchful gaze of the river goddess Nwanyike, they dreamed of a life free from hate. Yet the day their families uncovered their secret was the day the dream shattered. Nkemdilim, clutching his Bible, declared, "The gods of the shrine have bewitched my daughter." Ezemwo, with a voice that thundered through the village, shouted back, "Your false god has ensnared my son's mind. The shrine will cleanse him." The villagers watched in silence as the feud erupted into flames. Overhead, dark clouds gathered, and the winds carried whispers from the forbidden forest. Ajo, Ohio, the cursed, evil forest that no soul dared to enter. That night, the forest awakened. Its trees groaned, and an eerie wail pierced the air, louder than the village drums. The elders trembled as the voice of the goddess Allah roared from the depths. Two bloodlines of hate, bound by the sins of the past. If you will not forgive, I will take everything you hold dear. The next morning, Ezemwo, trembling with rage, stood before the shrine. "We must offer a cleansing sacrifice. Only then will the gods be appeased." At the same time, Nkemdilim gathered his congregation in the church, his voice rising in prayer. "The Holy Spirit will fight for us. Only God can break this curse." The village was torn. The gods of the shrine demanded blood, but the church pleaded for mercy. And so, the battle for love, hate, and redemption began. The gods soon revealed their will. To break the curse, both families must send their eldest sons, Osondu and Nneoma, along with their brothers, Ikena and Okechukwu, into the evil forest to retrieve the uchechi leaf. This mythical plant, said to cure curses, grew near the sacred pool of Nwanyike, guarded by an immortal python spirit. But there was a terrible condition. Only one family could return alive. The forest loomed over them as they stepped into its shadow. Its trees whispered secrets, its air thick with dread. Osondu held Nneoma's hand tightly as they walked. "I will protect you," he whispered, though fear clawed at his heart. Ikena and Okechukwu, however, burned with vengeance. Each carried a machete, and in their minds, the forest was not just a place of tests. It was where they would settle the feud once and for all. After hours of wandering, they reached the sacred pool. The water shimmered unnaturally, as though it held the stars. At its center rose Nwanyike, the goddess of the river. Her beauty otherworldly. Her hair flowed like a waterfall. Her eyes glowed like fireflies in the night. "You seek the uchechi leaf," she said, her voice like a song yet laced with menace. "But the leaf demands an offering. A life must be given for it to grow." At once, Ikena and Okechukwu turned on each other, their machetes gleaming. Okechukwu snarled, "This is the end of your cursed line." As their blades clashed, Nneoma cried out, "Stop! This isn't the way." She ran to the goddess, falling to her knees. "Take me instead," she pleaded, her voice breaking. "Let the others live!" Nwanyike laughed, a sound that chilled the forest. a heart willing to die for love, yet surrounded by hatred. I will not take you, child. The gods themselves must decide. As the goddess spoke, the sky above them split open and a blinding light descended. An angel, its wings shimmering with divine glory, stood before them. The air filled with a holy stillness, and the goddess bowed her head. The angel's voice echoed like thunder. Enough! The gods do not demand blood, but forgiveness. This curse is not their will. It is the poison of your hatred. The angel turned to Ekena and Okechukwu, who knelt, trembling. Drop your weapons, it commanded, for the blood you spill here will curse your children. The men dropped their machetes, their hate melting into tears. The angel handed Osondu and Nneoma a glowing leaf, the Uchechi leaf. Take this as a sign of grace, but know this: hatred, if it returns, will bring a curse twice as strong. The group returned to the village at dawn. The villagers gathered, their faces etched with fear and hope, as the story was told. Ezemio and Nkemdilim stood facing each other, their pride broken. Slowly they embraced, their tears soaking into the earth. The village held a ceremony of unity. At the shrine, Ezemo offered sacrifices to Allah, and at the church, Nkemdilim led prayers of thanksgiving. For the first time, the drums of peace sounded louder than the cries of hate. Osondu and Nneoma were married by the river, under the watchful gaze of Nwanyike and the blessing of the church. Their love became a symbol of forgiveness, and their story a lesson passed down for generations. But the villagers never forgot the angel's warning. They knew that hatred, like a spark, could ignite again. And so, they guarded their hearts, for love is the only fire that purifies. And so, the storyteller concludes. The wailing forest fell silent, and the river sang of peace.